What if I told you a young superstar, draft-eligible receiver broke the NFL Combine record for the 40-yard dash, was the wide receiver one at his college, and is still being ranked behind one of his teammates? Well, that is exactly what's happening between Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy. This is what are we talking about with Jamie Jakes. I am him, and let's get to the bottom of it. Now, this is a real debate. There are some real analysts in the fantasy community that are ranking Adonai Mitchell well ahead of Xavier Worthy. So let's go to the stats. Worthy caught for 1,014 yards at Texas, where Mitchell only caught 845, which is actually fewer yards than Xavier Worthy's freshman season for Texas, where he caught for over 900 yards. Worthy is the younger of the two at age 20. Mitchell is 21 years old. They both played all 14 games this past season. So the one thing you can give Mitchell credit for is his ability to score touchdowns. He did double up Xavier Worthy's touchdown total for last season, but we all know that touchdowns are oftentimes unpredictable, and there were noticeably a few blown coverages that Adonai Mitchell did take advantage of and score touchdowns on his film. Xavier Worthy, like we all know at this point, ran a 4.21 40. Adonai Mitchell ran a very impressive 4.34. But what I personally saw on film is Xavier Worthy. I was not surprised at all about his 40 time. Adonai Mitchell, I was surprised because, in my opinion, he didn't play as fast. That speed, that athletic profile, the reason he's being ranked ahead of Xavier Worthy didn't really show on film, in my opinion. Like I said, there was a lot of blown coverages on his film, and oftentimes he was catching contested catches, not creating a lot of separation, which is really what's going to win in the NFL. Xavier Worthy did weigh in much lighter than Adonai Mitchell at 165 versus 205. The receiver position is getting a lot smaller in the NFL. In fact, the average receiver is about 175 nowadays. So I realize if you're concerned about him being undersized, we've seen undersized receivers succeed very recently. For example, Tank Dell in the NFL. So I don't think that 175 threshold is really a prerequisite to being good in the NFL. And Worthy played strong. It didn't look like he was ever really overpowered. The way teams are using motions pre-snap in the NFL, it's going to make Worthy extremely difficult to cover. And I think with a better quarterback in college, he would have had even nastier stats than he does right here. So as I was prepping for this video, there was a great tweet by this account right here. Football Insights on X is a great Twitter follow. You do have to be a little bit of a nerd to understand a lot of things that they're saying, including this. So this picture is from this Twitter follow right there. So basically what they're saying is Adonai Mitchell and Keon Coleman are round one talents, of course, ahead of Xavier Worthy and Troy Franklin, which is obnoxious. So this is an actual debate that is going on online, believe it or not. So what Football Insights is saying is that Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell, and Keon Coleman all have less than 2.0 career yards per route run. How good of a metric is yards per route run? So here's a really cool chart that breaks down all the different metrics, how sticky they are, which means how reliable are they from season to season. Basically saying that you need a larger sample size for less sticky stats. And the predictive fantasy points per game the next year. So the N+1 the next season. So the higher this number is, the more this metric predicts that. So you'll see yards per route run all the way down here. It's about a middle tier metric. It's pretty darn okay. But this metric has a lot of history here, specifically with first round talents. So Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell, and Keon Coleman all caught for fewer than 2 yards per route run in college. So if they are drafted in the first round, they would be the lowest in this metric since Jalen Reagor, Jahan Dotson, and N'Keal Harry. 3 big-time fantasy football busts, at least so far. What was Xavier Worthy's yard per route run his last year in college? 2.31, which of course is well over that threshold. So when reviewing the athletic profile, the stats and metrics, and the film of these two players, you'd have to be out of your mind to rank Adonai Mitchell ahead of Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy and Troy Franklin, in my opinion, are two premier receivers in this draft class, top 5. If you do have an early rookie draft pick this year, try and trade back, because 111 and 112, you're going to have a shot at a guy like Xavier Worthy or Troy Franklin. Thank you for listening. Tell me who you've got, Xavier Worthy or Adonai Mitchell, and tell me players you would like me to compare in the future. Please leave a like, subscribe, and share with your friend. Thank you, and good night.